Okay, so first I was wondering a little bit about who you are and where you're from.
Alright, so I'm Jakub, or Jacob. I was born in Prague in 1988, just a year before the revolution. I still live here. I'm studying French and German philosophy here in Prague.
Okay, great. And I was wondering what you think about American politics.
Well, I try to find out something about the current politics almost every day. I watch the Young Turks, a YouTube channel, very often. Generally, it's a crazy system. I don't think the two-party system is the best idea for politics in general. And honestly, I would always vote for Democrats. Right now, I would definitely go for Bernie.
Okay.
Because he's the only politician that makes any sense to me. I've seen an interview with him, with his wife. I've seen lots of supporters who talk to him and about him, and I think he's a person who might not change the US politics, but at least is a person who talks about the real issues and at least would bring into people's consciousness what are some of the problems in the US politics sphere. And when I talk to Americans who say that he's a crazy socialist, I usually tend to tell them that they have no idea what socialism actually is. We had socialism here, and there's a big difference between a socialist dictatorship and a social democracy, where there's a democracy but people who need help receive it and people have welfare.
So I was wondering what you thought about Bernie Sanders.
I think that he's the person I would vote for because he seems to have the best ideals, or at least what relate to mine, and that he is empowered by money, he's actually empowered by passion and how he wants to change the world in a better way, and I just think that hasn't really existed, and I think it's exciting, and I think that's who I would vote
Okay,
for.
so I was wondering what you guys thought about Donald Trump.
I think the only way to describe him is in terms of UK politics. So there's a guy called Boris Johnson here who is a buffoon. But he's also a dangerous buffoon because people want him to be the next Prime Minister. So that kind of ignorant, boorish kind of persona that Boris Johnson kind of has might reflect Donald Trump in America as well. Same way that Bernie Sanders kind of reflects our Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
what do you think?
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, I guess a bit scary, I suppose. Doesn't really give off a great image of the States, but we obviously know there's a lot more to the States than Donald Trump. So, yeah, that would be my view.
I think it's quite comforting seeing all the media content criticising Trump, because then it's a kind of reassurance that not everyone likes him. So I think every time Trump says something, 10 more people go against what he says, which is quite nice.
So you say you'd probably vote for a Democrat. Do you have any thoughts on Hillary Clinton?
Oh, I'm a lefty, progressive liberal, and I don't think that she's a really good person. I think one of the big issues that they tell about her is that she keeps changing her mind and her politics depending on what's right now necessary and who she kind of tries to draw into her campaign. So I don't like that about her. I think lots of Czech people who don't know much about politics like her just because of Bill Clinton, and they remember the 90s as a good time when, I don't know, the world was becoming free. But I don't think she's a person I would like to have. I think she's conservative, she's part of the establishment, she would just continue the politics the way it is right now. And
So I was wondering your name, where you're from.
My name is Gilles, I'm Portuguese, living in Berlin.
And what do you think about American politics?
I think the Western, the Europe cares too much about it, but I think it's a joke. It's just advertisement, publicity. That's how I think it works.
Yeah.
That's what I can say from it.
Okay, so I was wondering what you thought about Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump.
Bernie Sanders, I prefer Bernie Sanders, absolutely. I heard about him, and I'm sorry, I am very frightened by the idea that Donald Trump could become president of the United States. So,
You're Austrian and we are in Hungary.
Yes.
And I want to ask you what you think about American politics.
The situation is following. In case I represent my own country, so I can't just say irresponsible things I do think, in my eyes, I'm also half Hungarian, and I would never tolerate something what Donald Trump is doing, and it's not correct to say name, but in this country where we are now it is, and most of Hungarian people don't agree with this, what Donald Trump thinks about people. Yes, of course we have a wall to keep migrants and Syrian people from Hungary, but that doesn't mean that it works in America as well. I think Obama was a great president and Kennedy was the best in my eyes. I think American government have a lot to learn from Hungary, from Europe, but actually it's much more organized in this nowadays than Europe is.
About it, but I just think Donald Trump's a little bit on the crazy side.
Yeah.
So if he did become president, I'm not sure. I don't think it would be a good thing for America. That's basically my thoughts.
So then I have one final question. So I was wondering if you had any thoughts on Ted Cruz or Donald Trump.
Oh man, like I by default don't believe in Republican politics, and unfortunately the two candidates you mentioned are like the ultimate evil. I think like Ted Cruz, it seems to me, just a really bad expression of conservative Christianity in the US, and like I generally am freaked out by those politics, and I think he's like definitely the worst side of it. And of course Ted Cruz is Donald Trump is a sociopath, so he's a person who totally lost it, and he's basically like a fascist and a racist and a person who, if politics were still normal, wouldn't be even allowed to appear in public. Unfortunately, politics, even in Europe, are becoming more extreme.
So I was wondering what you guys thought about Donald Trump.
Seems a bit, doesn't really know what he's talking about, and very cocky and overconfident about everything.
Hi, so I was wondering if you could tell us your name, where you're from, and what you think about American politics.
Hello, my name is Him and I'm from Hong Kong. I don't know too much about the things, but I just heard it from American girls from yesterday. I met and she just telling me about the Donald Trumps, and I just saw the videos from the YouTube, and I think he's quite horrible, the rules, something like this. So I think the Americans should not support him.
Okay, so I was wondering what you think about American politics.
Okay, I think Obama is a very positive person. The strange thing only the gun rules, and also we heard about it much things about the prison.
Guantanamo.
Guantanamo, and I think much people think about it. It's needed and also very cruel or something. Not good because no any control there. So also Hillary Clinton is a very nice person. We think she could be a good president. Yes, and Donald Trump. He only making money, I think. So not any serious.
So I was wondering what you thought about Hillary Clinton.
Oh right, I just find it odd that an ex-president's wife should then run for president herself. I don't know. I can't imagine Cherie Blair ever running for prime minister, although our system works kind of different. But I mean, once you've had the politician themselves, why would you want their old lady? Although she might be better, of course. She probably won't get up to those things with a cigar.
That's very true.
Who knows? Who knows? Please don't tell the Americans I said this, because they'll probably lynch me.
Hey everyone, I hope your Thursday is going really well, and I hope you got something from watching these videos. I actually just finished putting them together, and I'm currently sitting at my hotel in Berlin, and thought it would be kind of nice if I said a little something before I just pass this off to Emma. The first thing I want to say is I want you all to really understand the candidness of these videos, which is why I decided to leave in all of the background noise. It had nothing to do with the fact that I couldn't figure out how to get rid of the background noise. I just really wanted you to understand how natural and unplanned these interviews were. Okay, so the two main points I do want to point out before Emma kind of takes the reins and talks to you about the video is the first thing was that everyone knows who Donald Trump is. It's kind of crazy. My first few weeks here, actually, there was a bunch of debate motions posed at like the Oxford Union that discussed whether or not Donald Trump should be banned from the UK. And I know that was something that the UK Parliament was also debating. So that's really interesting. And before I started actually getting into this video and doing something like this, someone had mentioned to me that they found Donald Trump really fascinating because he brought more Americans into politics and made them pay more attention. Whether it was a positive thing or a negative thing, I don't really know, but that was an interesting point that someone made to me. The second thing I wanted to point out is that everyone decently liked Bernie Sanders. So that's kind of a little synopsis. I guess you can replace certain parts if you need to, but I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you get to have a really interesting discussion.